Hello, friends, and welcome to TurtleQueenGaming and the final installment of Jeff's ending of Nicole. I'm out of it. I definitely have to be out of it. I must be, otherwise why am I having such a hard time concentrating? I close my bio textbook and stare out the library window, resting my chin on a propped hand. I've been trying to study for a half hour now, but I can't seem to focus on anything related to cells, life forms, or, God forbid, chemicals. And it's all because of him. Jeff. Even thinking the name right now gets me all worked up. I'm still worried. It's not like my last visit did anything to put me at ease. I can still remember how he gripped my wrists so tightly that his hands were like shackles. His face had been so close to mine, too. Teeth were grit, but his lips were parted. I stop my train of thought and shake my head. Okay, what? I must be super out of it right now if I'm thinking about his lips. I run a hand through my hair, smoothing back my bangs. They bounce back into place soon after, though more frazzled than before. Studying isn't going to happen right now. I have to call it. It'd be better to just pack up my things and leave than stay here and taking up space. Maybe I can go back to my dorm and watch some shows on my laptop. It's totally unproductive, but too bad. It's the only thing I'm in the mood for right now. I start packing away my book, then my notebook follows after it. I'm pretty sure I have everything in my shoulder bag when I stand up to leave. Then I make the mistake of glancing out the window. And I see him. Ugh. Jeff's walking down the path by the library, blending in with the other students nearby. I haven't tried messaging him or calling him ever since that day. He looks fine, though. My chest grows a little warm at the realization. It's a relief to see. But while he does look healthy, Jeff also looks shady. He has a huge backpack on, and it isn't his usual one. The direction he's going in, it has to be toward the life science department. I shouldn't bother wondering what's up with him. But I can't help it. It's not like I'm not even trying to stop myself from thinking about him. Jeff doesn't look like he's up to anything good. Knowing him, it could be, or even be outrageously dangerous. Ugh. Maybe this is all in my head. Maybe I'm just that desperate to need a reason to go talk to him again. Even if I am, my feet start moving before I bother to disprove myself. I bound down the stairs 2 at a time until I hit the library's ground floor. Then I race up the sliding doors until I'm back outside. Jeff, where is he? I thought I was quick enough to not lose sight of him, but maybe I was wrong? Oh, no, I wasn't. I look over to my left and I can see Jeff's back as he walks away. He's like the size of a speck compared to where I'm standing. I'd text him, but I know he wouldn't answer, and I bet calling out would only make him run faster. I'm going to have to stalk him. Definitely unsavory, but it's the only way I'm going to find out what the heck he's up to. I pick up my heels and hurry after his direction before I lose Jeff entirely. Despite Jeff's head start, I managed to catch up and sneak behind him without him noticing. Like I thought, it isn't long before we hit the life sciences department. Jeff goes straight for a familiar building, moving faster once he's recognized it's nearby. That's where Professor Garver's lab is. That can't be a coincidence. Determined, I wait a few minutes, then head on in. Whatever he's up to, I'm going to find out. Man, this makes me feel like a real busybody, but it's for a good cause. Jeff doesn't look like he's all there right now, and I don't want him to do anything he'll regret. I go up the stairs as fast as I went down the library, leaving me totally out of breath once I reach the top of the flight. Shake it off, Nicole. The lab door's right there. I expect to have to break it down, but the door handle turns when I twist it. Weird, but no time to dwell on it. I push the door open and burst inside. Jeff's in there like I thought, standing over one of the lab counters that's stacked with several books and notebooks. Those are a lot. Are they all his? And wait, what's that in his hand? I vaguely recognize using it in high school chemistry. This isn't a tool, isn't that a tool used to start fires on Bunsen burners? A flint something? Yeah, the clicky. I connect the dots and spot several Bunsen burners lined up in front of the stacks. What are you doing? I hurry closer to Jeff before he has a chance to light anything on fire. Nicole, I had a feeling you'd worm your way into here as usual. Are you crazy? Are you still seriously thinking of burning all these here? Perhaps. He laughs maniacally as he squeezes the tool in his hand a few times. Tiny sparks fly off of it for dramatic effect. It's not as though I have any use for these anymore. What are these books anyway? I don't wait for Jeff's permission before I pick up a book at the top of the stack. It's hardcover, and the cover has an illustration that you'd expect to see in some fantasy world. This is a book about alchemy? They all are, and the notebooks are filled with various notes I've accumulated. I pick up one of the notebooks now, and bend the cover behind to start reading. The lined pages are filled with Jeff's handwriting, pages and pages full of detailed notes. I recognize some of these. Aloe, ginseng, chocolate? How did you find out about all this? Hours and hours of experimentation. And now, all that effort will be burnt into ashes as they should be. Jeff takes a huge breath or as if to start laughing again, but I go over and punch his shoulder before he has a chance to. Ow! Put that thing down and step away from those Bunsen burners. You know you can't start fires in here anyway. I know at least that much about working in the laboratory. While rubbing his arm, Jeff concedes with a nod of his head. It was supposed to be more of a symbolic gesture, really. Whatever it is, it needs to stop. What are you even thinking? This is stupid. I told you, I'm no longer an alchemist. I no longer need these notes or these books. It'd be better to just simply erase that part of myself. But isn't this really important to you? It used to be. There's no way I'm going to believe him if he says it like that. But after the potion failed, the potion I had dedicated so much time and effort into, I began to wonder if it was right to dedicate so much of myself to alchemy. The secret part of me, the part I cannot show others. I can't have any more traces of it. I need to get rid of it and live as I usually do. You mean with a fake personality? That's exactly what I'm saying. I get rid of all this nonsense, stick to how I was before, and everything will go fine. I can focus on other things. The only reason I needed to pretend was because alchemy was such a huge part of my life in the first place. Without it, the me I pretend to be will be the real me, you see? No, I don't see it. I feel my arms shaking from how pissed off Jeff is making me. I've been doing my best to stay quiet and listen as Jeff spoke, but I can't take this anymore. Ooh, will you get over yourself for once in your life? Jeff reels back like I've punched him again, but it has to be done. What he's saying? It's so ridiculous. Does he really think it's that easy to change who he is? Getting rid of anything related to alchemy won't solve your problem. You'll just find some other reason to pretend. Well, that's unavoidable, isn't it? Jeff scoffs and rubs the back of his neck furiously. People aren't as accepting as they seem. The world is a cold place, full of judgment, and if you don't fall within the acceptable parameters, you're shunned. I've avoided that in my entire life because of who I pretended to be. And you cannot say that there is never a need to pretend. I'm sure you pretend on occasion. I take a deep breath. He has a point there. You're right. There are times where you have to pretend, like when you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. But that doesn't mean you should compromise who you are. You shouldn't let anything compromise who you are. Be who you are, and as long as you aren't hurting anyone. I make sure to emphasize that part especially well, considering it's Jeff. Then screw whoever has a problem with you. I mean, alright, let's be real. You're a little crazy, and way too excited at times, and sometimes I have to repeat what you say to myself because I don't understand. You're different. We get it. So is everyone else. No one is exactly the same. We all have our quirks. So stop being such a scaredy cat and think that you have to please everyone by pretending to be someone you're not. Just be yourself. The world isn't as cold as you think it is, I promise. I pause to take a breath and look at Jeff in hopes that I've reached him somehow. Stop! Well, guess not. Jeff musses up his hair and grinds his teeth like he's reached his limit. I can't stand listening to you talk anymore. This is all your fault. I place both hands to my chest. My fault? How is this my fault? I didn't do anything. Yes, you did. Jeff runs off to the corner of the room like a trapped animal. You, with your kind words and your smile, and the way your eyes wrinkle at the corners when you laugh. Ugh! I can't stop thinking about you. My head feels lightheaded whenever I am near you. I experience strange sensations in my chest at the near sight of you. And you freaking him the fuck out. Jeff braces himself against the wall melodramatically and points at me like he's about to curse my firstborn son. I have no idea what you did to me, but you must have done something. I would not be like this otherwise. It's official, Jeff's dropped off the deep end. But wait, all those symptoms he listed off, aren't those signs of... My heart starts beating faster as I consider the connotations. You really can't stop thinking about me? You're like a curse no priest can exorcise. Ouch, a simple yes or no would have been fine, thanks. Still, that was him admitting it, right? I just don't think Jeff has realized what he's admitting to at all, or is all. I better help him along. The thought makes butterflies flutter around my chest, but I go for it head on. You know, there is one possibility. I swallow to calm my jitters down. It sounds like you, if we were to want to make this as technical as possible, it sounds like you have romantic feelings for me. I blush and angle my gaze away at the last second, making my voice come out more bashfully than I intended. However, Jeff takes my words with a thoughtful expression, if somewhat confused. Romantic feelings, you say? What are these romantic feelings you speak of? He closes his eyes and hums to himself. A blush creeps onto his face as he thinks more and more. His eyes snap open. Very well. In that case, allow me to conduct an experiment. Jeff approaches me from the corner, gaining speed with each stride. What are you doing? I gasp as Jeff braces his hands on my shoulder again, only this time his touch is softer. Not hard enough to keep me in my place, but as though he's trying not to break me. I hypothesize that I do, indeed, have these feelings for you. To test this, I will kiss you. It's the nerdiest thing in the world! And it's amazing! Huh? I freeze. He's going to do what now? My hands lift from my sides to shove him off, but they stop for the last second, just before his chest. If you want me to stop, you better push me away while you have the chance. His eyes look down at my hands, but I keep looking at his face, at the way his brow creases like he has no idea what he's doing. I think, even though I thought I'd seen the real him, this has to be the first time I've seen Jeff unscripted. My body goes funny at the sight of his face, and it's coming closer? Something soft brushes against my lips, and Jeff has finally done the deed. It's not his steamy kiss by any means. Our lips press together for what has to be a few seconds tops. But the feeling it sends through my body is electric. My hands fall to his chest and brace myself upright. Before you know it, Jeff pulls away, eyes wide. You were correct, it seems. The sound of his voice sends me out of the dream. I imagine the sound of glass cracking as I pull away and wipe my lips with my wrist. I can't believe I just did that! Oh, can you? The tone in his voice is playful, if annoyingly smug. Did I tell you to pull away if you wished? It didn't seem like you were too affronted by the whole matter either. Oh good. That cocky confidence is back. I know, but... Be my assistant again. It's so out of nowhere, I wonder if I heard Jeff correctly. Be what now? My assistant again. Well, no, not only my assistant. What's the correct word? My girlfriend. You would be helping me, so I suppose assistant is still accurate. You're seriously asking me out? Yes, I am. To put it in a way that cannot be misconstrued, I am asking you, Nicole, if you would like to be my girlfriend and engage in many romantic gestures that couples are known to do. Jeff takes on that excited tone that I've grown to know, and I can't find it in myself to say no. He's so excited about it. After all, when I think about it, aren't I the same as Jeff, always thinking about him, getting all flustered by how close he was kissing me? I like spending time with him. I was super bummed when I couldn't see him. Call it what you want, but I'm pretty sure I like him too. I wouldn't feel like I was floating on air if I wasn't crazy about him. To put it in the most technical way possible, you betcha. Jeff beams as he hears my answer, and that has to be the most genuine and happy that I've seen him since the day we've met. He pushes me into his chest to give me a tight squeeze, but just as I'm about to relax into him, he shoves me off. Hey! Oh no, I nearly forgot! Garver told me he was going to be using this lab around 5:30 today. What time is it now? Jeff looks down at his wristwatch and grimaces as he shows me the clock face. 5:15? I look over at the mess of books and Bunsen burners lined up on the lab stations. You are so lucky we're dating right now, or I'd leave. Normally I would try to disagree, but please help me so I don't lose my internship. The whole cleaning session is a blurred mess of trying to stuff things back in Jeff's backpack without breaking anything. It takes forever, and at first, we don't think we're going to make it, but just as the door to the lab opens, Jeff and I are standing in the middle of a clean lab. Ignoring the overstuffed backpack, Jeff hides behind his legs. Mr. Ryan? Nicole? Professor Garver! What a coincidence! As Professor Garver enters, Jeff gives me a look as if trying to get me to play along. I shoot him one back, like he really needs to remind me at this point. I remember that you would be in need of this lab, so I graciously decided to clean it for you. You can thank me later, perchance in the form of your appreciation. Why, thank you, Jeff. It looks great. You did a fine job. Are you feeling okay, though? You sound different. That's right, Jeff's not using his overly polite voice anymore. Oh no, not at all. I happen to be feeling the most myself in ages. Don't worry. Of course, I didn't happen to do this all by myself. I yelp as I feel Jeff tuck his hand under my legs and place a hand on my back. Without warning, he lifts me off the ground, carrying me like a princess. What are you doing all of a sudden? With a smirk, Jeff leans in to whisper into my ear. Didn't you say to be myself? I have no intention of hiding who I pledge my devotions to. Ugh, but I didn't mean to do this. This is seriously embarrassing, and in front of my professor, no less. Professor Garver looks slightly bemused by the whole display. There are worse things, I suppose. Plus, I actually kind of like this. I might make Jeff carry me around like this more often. With a laugh, I turn to my professor and shrug, blushing. You know what they say, what are assistants for? Phew, boy, I don't know. I don't know how we're going to turn this around, but hey. Let's see, where is him? Yep, there he is. Looking awfully dapper. Jeff impatiently looks around while tapping his foot and drumming his fingers against the back of the bench. It's like he's expecting someone, but it's not too hard to guess who. Is this why you wanted to know what time our last final was? Gee, I wonder if I should go talk to him. Jeff, hey! I wave at him reluctantly and try to get his attention, and Jeff bounds from the bench right for me. Ah, there she is, the lady of the hour. Before I can even edge in a word, Jeff takes me by the hand and leads me back to the bench where he was sitting. He plops me down and sits right beside me. So? Oh, my test! Yes, of course. So how did it go? I wanted to know since the moment you set foot in there. How do you know when I went in? Simply a hyperbole, my dear. Now, tell me. I wish to hear all the details. I'm sure it was a joke. A joke to you, maybe, but I found it to be kind of challenging. But overall, you would say you did a good job? I nod, and Jeff eagerly shakes both of my hands. Congratulations, then, I say. I was worried for a moment to think I might be dating someone who failed an introductory science course. Shut up, Jeff! Jeff shudders as if he can think of no worse thing than that. Hey! I'll have you know I've never failed a class in my life. I turn to Jeff, annoyed, but he surprises me with a quick peck on the lips. I blink as I register what just happened. That's for doing well on your final. Oh, well, thanks. And with that, my sour mood just disappears. It's kind of sad that's all it takes, but Jeff is my boyfriend. You're acting pretty eager to please today. Am I? Jeff shrugged his shoulders, oblivious. I don't know what you mean. It's only natural to be excited on the last day of the semester, isn't it? I guess, but you seem way too into it right now. But speaking of which, I place my bag on my lap and run inside for my phone. It has to be here somewhere. I'm sure I placed it in here before I took my test. Aha! Found it! I have to go call my mom now. I told her I'd call right when I was finished. She is that eager to know how you did? Hey, you can't talk, mister. I point knowingly at Jeff as I get up from my seat. Watch my bag, please, and thank you. Very well. Jeff gestures for me to be off, and I head away so I don't disturb him with my conversation. Well, it's more like so he can't eavesdrop. But when I try calling my mom, I get sent to her voicemail. Huh, guess she's busy. Thingies. Same thing? Yep, coming to get you. It's weird how it doesn't change at all. Wait. Oh, hold on. Oh. It is different. The day has come. One last chance. Mind your own matters and keep out of places you shouldn't be in. The day has come? I take back everything I said about not being scared. I nearly dropped my phone with how bad my hands are shaking. One last chance? What are they talking about? I never got any chances before. I look down at my phone, reading desperately. Mind your own matters and keep out of places you shouldn't be in? What do they mean? Where shouldn't I be? Wait, do they mean that abandoned building? Did they know I was looking around there that one night? Mind my own matters? What? Are they scared now that they know I'm catching on to them? So many questions, but I know one thing for sure. I can't back down now that I've got this abductor on the ropes like this. I'll show them just how much of a mistake it was to target me. I'm not going to let them get the better of me anymore. However, I put on the brakes as soon as I remember Jeff waiting for me back on the bench. I can't just go off and leave him here, can I? He was so excited to see me today, too. It can't be helped. I have to do this. If he got caught up in all of this because of me, I would never forgive myself. So, is he still pretending? Is this a new fake Jeff? I'm worried. When I head back to Jeff, I try not to show any signs of distress. He's pretty good at picking at emotions without trying. If I slip up for a moment, he'll be all over me with questions. To be honest, part of me is hoping that he does. Maybe hearing a voice of reason will be enough to talk me out of this. And how was the phone call? Jeff's back to sitting on a bench when I return, my bag safely held near his thigh. She didn't pick up. I had to leave a message. But, I'm sorry. I totally forgot I had something to take care of after this. What? Jeff's face goes dark. Oh boy, I sense an incoming tirade coming along. Oh, I see. Or not. Phew, I thought he was about to let me have it for a second there. Yeah, I have to get going now, but I promise I'll call you later. He knows. He knows. I'll see you later, Nicole. I lean over to kiss Jeff on the cheek before I get going, but he doesn't even react. Hey, are you okay? Is he more upset about me leaving than he let on? Yes, I'm fine, Nicole. Jeff shakes his head a few times and gestures for me to shoo. Go on, you said you had something to take care of. Right, I'm going. Bye. Well, that was weird. Jeff isn't normally that unreceptive. Ugh, too much is going on. One thing at a time. I gotta catch this abductor, then I can figure out what's the matter with Jeff. What's the matter is you wouldn't let it go, and you just wanted to move on. I hurry through campus and out into town. Man in building, I think I'd bring a weapon. Alright. We just gotta skip all the... Wait, hold on. Oh yeah, no. The girl screams that he managed to abduct someone else. MP3 player, trap. Oh, hey, what? Scowling, I press the button and shove the player back the player in frustration. What the heck is this supposed to be? There's another sound. I snap over to look at the door, and I see it suddenly move like someone was right there watching me. No time to be creeped out. I take off, shoving the door to the side as I run past it. They couldn't have gotten far. They have to be close. But I can't hear any footsteps. It's just as quiet as it's always been. What the heck? That can't be. I keep going, watching for signs further up ahead. I make my way to a wide hall. And suddenly, Jeff is standing right in front of me. Oh, I don't know. I squeal and nearly jump in place. Oh my god, Jeff! You scared me for a moment. What are you doing here? How did you find this place? Worried, I take a few steps closer to try and check on him, but he responds by taking a few steps back. Huh? Jeff? It's obvious to see, once I'm closer, something's different about Jeff. He's not smiling, and his eyes are clouded and dark like the night of a storm. I knew you would come here. The data spoke for itself. There's no way you wouldn't have come here. Jeff, what are you talking about? I'm talking about how you go and do what you believe is the best course of action, regardless of whether you may be wrong or what others may think. Like now. I tried so hard to scare you away from all this, but no matter what I did, you persisted, kept going and going and going until now. The climax of all of your efforts. Jeff forces himself to smile, and he holds his arms out wide. He's worried that I'm going to hate him now. You did it, Nicole. Here you are. The way he says that doesn't make it sound like he's congratulating me at all. He sounds tired, but it can't be. Is he really saying what I think he is? Jeff, you can't be serious. About what? About being the mastermind behind all this? He laughs and swings himself around one of the decaying beams in the room. But 'tis true. I can prove it even. Test me. Ask me about the messages I sent you on that blog site. About the blogs I created for that very reason. Jeff knows way too much to be kidding around. It's like I can feel everything I know cracking around me. But the sound of shattering glass ringing in... there's the sound of shattering glass ringing in my ear. Then it really was you? You're the one who's been threatening me all this time? As well as I abducted the girls before you. Don't forget that. He laughed about it like it's some sort of joke, but it's not funny. Stop it! My shouting is enough to silence him. Why would you do something like that? I thought we liked each other, and then I didn't always like you. Before, when I ran into you that one night alone on campus, I found your phone. I saw the application you were on, and I thought it would be interesting to play a prank on you. I wrote that message and waited near the Lost and Found for you to discover it. The next time I saw you, I was in one of the class buildings. You were walking through campus, and I decided to send you some more messages. To me, I considered it a series of humorous jokes. After all, I had no idea who you were, just a strange freshman girl I encountered one day in the department. But then, chance would have it that I would learn more about you. Even worse, that you would learn about me, about who I really was. I tried to stop you from that moment on. I didn't want you involved in any of this. But none of those messages worked. They only seemed to quench your drive for the investigation. In hindsight, I suppose that was one of the reasons I fell for you. However... Jeff stops his clinical way of talking and to point right at me. You have a bad habit of doing whatever you please with no consideration for others. I thought this last and final message would be enough to stop you, but I should have known better. How dare you lecture me right now? You don't have any idea how badly you scared me, you jerk-off. You did that to yourself. Jeff's voice goes low and serious. You're the one who decided not to tell anyone. You're the one who decided to take this task all on your own. I never made you isolate your efforts. That was all your conscious decision. So what? Did you want me to go crying to my mom and dad? Or better yet, you? Would that have given you some kind of kick? At the very least, it would have convinced me to stop. Jeff holds his hands in front of him like he can't recognize them. I never intended for it to come to this point. The more time I spent with you, the harder it became to just say it. And then it all became too late. I was wrong. I was wrong. Foolishly wrong. I had thought that you would turn out the same as the others, and you did. But I never realized there was nothing wrong with them to begin with, and that is where I erred. His voice makes him sound so delicate. I nearly forget that everything has all been because of him, but there's something about all this that all seems so off. Why did you kidnap the other girls in the first place? Why did it have to come to this? Because I was wrong. Because... my potion. Jeff whispers the last part in embarrassment. My potion was supposed to make it easier to form connections with other people. Thus my hypothesis was as follows. If my potion worked, then these girls would still feel close to me, regardless of whether I held them against their will or not. He was inducing liquid Stockholm Syndrome. It was a Stockholm potion. I would administer the drink, gauge their reactions accordingly, and make the needed adjustments, but it never worked, no matter what I did. So I would catch and release, depending on whether I found a suitable candidate or not. Candidate? We're talking about people here, Jeff. They're not just test subjects. Those girls were living, breathing people. You think I don't know that? Jeff screams back at me. I didn't care before. I hadn't known any better. I would abduct them without any remorse, and that's because I didn't see them as anything but less than human. So I'd keep them in that room you managed to find for 3 days. 72 hours is the amount of time it needs to pass for someone to be declared missing. Just before that mark hit, I would feed them a substance that would leave them unable to remember anything, and then I'd sedate them so I could return them. I knew there was something wrong with what I was doing, but I decided that it was fine if I continued. My opinions of other people were abysmal. But you were wrong. Jeff nods solemnly. It is frustrating that I never would have realized this if it wasn't for you. It makes me furious that this is all because of you. You see, for that multiplies the guilt I feel over 10 times. A man can only handle so much before it all becomes overwhelming. Jeff slowly takes something out of his pocket, and I look to see a small ball with a short string poking out the side. Wait, what are you going to do? I will destroy this entire building, and I will take you along with me. Jeff raises his hand above his head as if he's ready to throw down the ball in his hand. Is what you might be expecting from a mad scientist, correct? No. Jeff chuckles ruefully and throws the ball a few times in his hand. No, I'm leaving this town, and perhaps this world entirely. I am not sure yet. It depends on how much further I choose to sink into what is already deep abyss. This is to ensure that you don't follow me, Nicole. It wouldn't do to wrap you up any further in a madman's ploys. However, before I go... Jeff takes out a lighter and stares fondly at the flame, almost nostalgically. This will be the last time we'll ever see each other again, so please, if you could, remember the tale of the great alchemist, Jeff Ryan. He wears a sad smile as he brings the lighter to a fuse, and I know it's too late to stop him by then. And despite of his sorry state of affairs, remember that he cared for you to the bitter end, my dear. Jeff flings the ball and it erupts in blue-colored smoke, filling the room. I stop and bring a hand to my throat as I start hacking and wheezing. No! Jeff, he can't do this. I won't let him do this. He's done terrible things, but he can't just leave. With a deep breath, I cover my mouth and nose with a hand before I dash desperately into the smoke. If I lose Jeff now, I'll lose him for good, and even through everything that has happened, I can't let that happen. My arms swing out wildly as I see a shape come to form ahead. I yell, filling my body with an extra burst of speed as it needs to break through and pounce on top of Jeff. We both hit the ground hard, rolling around the debris and dirt until I'm finally on top of Jeff, pinning him by his shoulders. He looks up at me, breathing heavy, and I can see what he means to ask without him saying it. Why? I shout the first thing that comes to mind. You can't do this! This isn't fair! I finally find out that it's you who's been behind everything, and you decide to run before I have my say? What is there left to say? It is true. I am the one. I abducted those girls. I made you think I was going to abduct you. But you were never going to. In fact, I think you wanted me to catch you. That's why you helped me, isn't it? Before, when I was asking around with Alicia, you didn't hide anything. I'd understand trying to keep up pretenses, but you told me way too much. You asked me to be your assistant to get close to you. Even after that, do you remember the day I came chasing after you to stop you from burning all your books? You kept the lab door unlocked. I didn't think of it as anything major, but all these little things, the door, the messages, what you just said. You give yourself away without realizing it, Jeff. Somehow, what you really want makes itself known. Jeff can only look up at me angrily. And you're not even resisting me right now. It does not matter. I'm doing what is right. I will no longer be in your life, and with everything I've done, this is how it should be. That's not how it should be. Stop telling me what you think I want to hear. If nothing else mattered now, what would you say, Jeff? What do you want? Come on. You've been shoving your real feelings down my throat for the last semester, and now when it really counts, you keep quiet? I start shaking Jeff hysterically, screaming for a reaction. God damn it! Tell me, Jeff! What is it you really want? I want you to forgive me! Jeff's shouts cuts through mine altogether, and his eyes blaze as he finally starts to buck under me. I want you to forgive me, Nicole, for everything. I want you to come with me, throw away everything to be with me, and I promise to make you happy in exchange. Okay. I want to spend more time with you. I want to be there for you no matter what. What I really want more than anything, I want you by my side. Jeff's voice goes quiet. His eyes waver as they look at me. I can hardly keep contact with contact with what I'm about to say. Well, I can't do that, Jeff. I'm sorry. No! That's the wrong answer! It wouldn't be right. I can't let you get away after everything you've done. Yes. Jeff huffs contemptuously and lays his head back down against the concrete, seemingly resigned. It wouldn't be very much like you otherwise. You didn't let me finish, you doofus! As long as you promise to do the right thing and to atone for everything you've done, I'll be there for you. For as long as it takes. What? Jeff's eyes widen and his back arches against the floor as he strains to look at me. Do you not understand what I did? The punishment won't be easy on me. My sentence could be years at best. To claim you will stay by me through that. Well, you did say that that was what you wanted. To make sure Jeff can see my face, I make sure Jeff can see my face so he knows I'm not joking. I don't know if I should bother, or if it's the right thing, but I have to go with my gut, and what my gut is telling me is that it feels right. I know that I care for you a lot too, Jeff, so I want to make sure you right your wrongs, for your own sake. I see. Jeff gives off a long sigh as he gazes at the far corner of the room. Not the most romantic answer, but it does still warm the heart to hear. It makes incarceration seem much less daunting now. So you'll do it? You'll turn yourself in? Considering my alternative was death, then yes, I will turn myself in, and hopefully that will be the start of my redemption. However, first things first. You'll have to punch me. I balk and nearly pull off Jeff. Huh? What are you talking about? It'll look better that way. More legitimate if you hand in a criminal you were forced to subdue, don't you agree? Well, yeah, but... Yes, you don't want to hurt me. It is fine. It is what must be done. Just consider it as a recompense for what I did to you. Sheesh, if you put it that way. I lean over and kiss Jeff on the mouth, holding his head between my hands. We keep like that for a few moments, completely engrossed in each other, until I finally have to draw back for air. You're a great guy, you know. I know you are. I ask you to remember that when the news attempts to tell you otherwise. Jeff smirks jokingly for a fleeting moment before he steels his face and clenches his eyes shut. Okay, do it now, before I lose my nerve. I exhale tensely and shake my hands out to my side. I rear my right hand back, right past my shoulder, and look down at Jeff's defenseless face. I'm really sorry about this, Jeff. I let my hand fly right for him. The police come 20 minutes after I call them, filling the streets with red and blue blinking lights. I'm asked questions, so many questions, but I can only answer them half-heartedly as I watch Mr. Starr cuff Jeff and take him away. How did you apprehend him? How did you find him? I tell them I was targeted, recited the script that Jeff would have wanted me to. I know it has to be this way. Jeff is usually right about these sort of things. I just never expected it turned out like this, or that Jeff would be the one behind everything. But I did make a promise to him. While I'm still uncertain of what'll come to be, I know for sure that this is the beginning of the end. I managed to solve the mystery of the abductions. I only wish it wasn't so bittersweet. It's been a while since everything that happened, fresh into the new year and the start of spring semester just around the corner. I've been waiting a long time for this day. The guard tips his head as I show him my visitor's pass, along with my driver's license. Everything's in check, so he opens the door to the visiting office and lets me through. There are small tables set everywhere, already occupied by people. Prisoners seem to sit on the north side of the table, while visitors are right across. Maybe it's for the sake of the guards. There are also a few vending machines near the side of the room. Behind this fenced gate, I am feeling thirsty, or am I just nervous? Also, why am I suddenly paying so much attention to this place? I should be looking for him. I step out from behind the gate, and it doesn't take me long to spot Jeff sitting at one of the tables. It feels like it's been way too long since I've seen his face. I run up to him and hug him as if it was allowed. Jeff! No contact. I call his name excitedly, doing my best to keep my voice under. Jeff looks up from his hands on the table and rises to his feet. Wordlessly, he holds his arms out, and I rush to him. I feel like I'm melting as I nestle into his arms. However, an officer's voice from the back quickly snaps us out of it. Right, no excessive physical contact. I've read the rules. I can do this. With a sheepish smile, I take the seat opposite Jeff while he takes his. I almost don't know what to say. This is kind of awkward. So I just say the first thing that happens to pop into my head. How are you? Jeff hesitates to speak for a moment. Forgive me, I'm still in the middle of basking in your presence. I still cannot believe you came all the way here to visit me. Please, my dad's place is like 20 minutes away. It's not out of the way. It was a real hassle trying to convince him to let me to come here, though. What did he say? You probably don't want to know. Make that double for my mom, but I convinced them, somehow. You don't know what my army dad said about me coming here to meet my abductor that I'm supposedly in love with. It was not nice things. They probably think I'll grow out of it, but that's totally not happening. I mean, come on, who else can say their boyfriend is a convicted felon? Jeff stares blankly at me, and all I can do is chuckle awkwardly. That was supposed to be a joke. Not funny in the least. I graded a 3 out of 10. Mind you, that was me being generous. I frown at him, but hey, at least he still has that weird sense of humor. That's a good sign. You never answered my question, remember? Oh, right, about my state of affairs. I am growing accustomed to it. Life in prison is less scary than the television made it seem. I do have to keep on my toes, but it's manageable. You have the ability to make everybody like you. You'll be running this prison by the time you're out. As long as you don't end up as someone's wife, I'm happy. Don't kiss anyone either. Jeff makes a face as if utterly disturbed by the notion. You don't have to worry when it comes to that. You're the only one I have any affections for. His usual tone of voice returns with that proclamation, and I smile as I see the life return to him. What's that for? What? That smile. It's different than what I remember. It does feel a bit different now that he brings it up. I think it's just... I don't really know how to explain it. I guess I haven't been this happy in a long while. I laugh in embarrassment. I can't believe I actually said that. Jeez, what'll he think now? But Jeff doesn't look disgusted or annoyed. He glances from side to side as if checking on the guards, and his hands slowly slide across the tabletop toward me. Jeff, is that allowed? As long as we keep our hands in sight, I'm sure it's acceptable. He eyes me in the way that I can tell he's totally lying, but this isn't an opportunity I'm about to pass up. As surreptitiously as he did, I slid my hands over until they're resting on top of his and curl my fingers. Jeff grabs back and looks down at our conjoined hands with a soft smile. I missed this. I missed you. It's the same for me. I laugh a little as I feel tears beat up at the corner of my eyes. Ugh, no crying. No, crying is so lame. Don't do it. Not now. I thought, through sheer willpower, I managed to hold back my tears, not doing much to cover the ones that already escaped. Hopefully Jeff won't notice, or if I just play it cool. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. Jeff's face falls as he notices my state, and he grips my hands even harder to try and reassure me. The only thing that keeps me going is the thought of you, so please do try to remain strong for my sake. I promise I'll make it up to you in 3 years. That's not too bad. Don't worry, I'm fine. Totally fine. I notice the guards giving us a funny look, so I let go of Jeff's hands to wipe my eyes. It just got the better of me for a moment, is all. I'm going to be holding you to that. I'll be in law school by then, so I'm going to need the support. Jeff groans and leans back in his seat. Please don't remind me. I'm still getting accustomed to the idea that you'll be further ahead of me academic-wise. Serves you right. I waggle my eyebrows at him and cross my arms in my seat. Don't worry, I'm sure I'll have need for an assistant when you're out. Jeff eyes me incredulously. Incredulously. Yes? Sounds right. But his expression soon softens into a warm, receiving smile. Save me the spot, or you may regret it. Well, it's like you said, there's nothing to worry about when it comes to that. I look him right in the eyes as I start speaking unabashedly. After all, you're the only one I love. Yay! Okay. I'm a bit of a hopeless romantic, so the whole running away and living life as a criminal with my super suave, sociopathic boyfriends. But this is good. She changed him for the better. It was good. Good. Sorry. I don't know why. Like, I romanticize the idea of them living on the run more than I romanticize the idea of her actually changing him for the better. That's terrible. What's wrong with me? That's totally like the ending that you would expect, especially for Nicole's personality. Silly me. No, but that was just as sweet as I thought. It was just really awkwardly done. Like, not awkwardly done. Like, I couldn't see how they were going to change it that quickly. But it was good. It was the way he was like, oh no, I wasn't really serious. I was just trying to scare you away after a while. Well, first I was trying to be funny. My funny, not your funny. And then he was like, no, actually, I was trying to scare you away because you wouldn't freaking go away. You wouldn't keep your nose out of anything because you're just meh. It's probably good though. If he didn't account for his actions, he might still wanted to change, but he wouldn't like make the leap for the change. And eventually he would just kind of like disappear on her and be like, I'm sorry, I'm not what you deserve, blah blah blah, and just poof out of existence. No poofing. Alright, well, that marks the end of Nicole. I'm sure I have something else to play. I'd really like everybody's thoughts. If you can, comment, like, share, be great. I'm putting Time Warp Tuesday on hold-ish, just because quite honestly, nobody's watched anything that I've posted for Time Warp Tuesday for some time, so until I get a singular view that shows that anybody's interested whatsoever, there's really no point in me keeping going with it, especially with the new... Obviously nobody's seen it, but since I'm doing Torrens Passage, it's... my recording software doesn't work, and I have to keep reloading at certain points because the video will cut itself off and stop recording and only record in bits and pieces, and then it takes like 2 hours to record 30 minutes, and I've played for like 2.5 hours, and it's ridiculous, and I'm just not going to struggle with it if nobody's going to watch. Because I'm lazy. Very, very lazy. And the thing is that as long as there's a goal, like a reason, I like doing things for a reason. I don't like doing work when there's no point to it. I've already played Torrens Passage, I know what it's like, it's not a new game, I'm not interested in reviewing. I mean, it's fun to go all nostalgia on it, but I'm not interested in replaying a game that nobody's gonna watch that I've already seen. It's one thing for me to play these games, where only a few people watch them, but I still get to enjoy the new experience of the game. The new story, and, you know, it gives me more ideas for other things than I'm doing. But, anywho, that's a tangent that I didn't need to go off on. So, until next time, peace out, y'all.